But anyway, getting back to SmackDown, let me just read this right here. First off, Dave just does a headline, and the headline adds, surprising title loss. All right. I thought, they couldn't possibly have taken the belt off Jack Swagger. So, as it turns out, I'll just read this to you. Matt Hardy calls out Drew McIntyre. They brawl. McIntyre gets the better of it. Teddy Long comes out to stop it. McIntyre gets suspended. He still won't stop. Teddy Long fires him and throws him out. The Intercontinental Championship now vacant, and they're doing a tournament for the belt. What?
That's stupid.
It's stupid because they fired Drew McIntyre. What does that mean? Well, he's going to Raw. I mean, obviously, he's not going to TNA.
I was going to say maybe he failed a test.
Well, I suppose that's possible, but you don't fire somebody who's going to be out for 30 days.
It's happened before. Usually they just have them lose, and then he just goes away for a month.
But regardless, okay, so he's being fired, and that means he's probably going to Raw. And I could be wrong about all this, but when I hear this, based on what I know, and based on the fact that JTG got drafted and then 5 minutes later they changed their minds.
Yes.
These fucking idiots, apparently, they created a draft, they decided to leave Drew McIntyre on SmackDown, and they couldn't even wait a week. They changed their mind.
Yes.
Decided this man has got to be on Raw.
Your theory is sound. Your
this was
theory
the
matches
best
their
they
history.
could come up with.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you people? Can you stick to a fucking direction? Like I said, we'll see. Maybe he did fail a test. I don't know. That's not what I mean. I look at him and I do not think test failure. Of course, I don't think that when I see Josh Barnett either, and he's had more test failures than anyone in the history of mixed martial arts.
Regardless of the reason, what they did was stupid.
Yeah, it's just, what's going on? What is going on? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why I said that Raw was not much better than Impact. That's an outright fallacy right there. It actually was...
It was not a very good Raw.
Well, I thought the first hour I really enjoyed. I thought Big Dave and Sheamus was...
The opening segment was awesome.
Fabulous.
Of course, the opening segment on Impact was awesome, too.
This one was better.
Yeah, you're right.
Listen, Jay Lethal did a great impersonation. That was the only good thing about that segment. Vince...
I just said you were right.
All of last week's show was built around winning the ring. Mm-hmm. And Jay Lethal just came out, gave it back, and kissed up to Flair. And then got his ass kicked, and then was never seen again.
Yes.
What a stupid segment.
It did not get him over. In fact, I think I forgot this, but at some point in there was a shot of Hogan getting the news about what was going on in the Impact Zone, and he declared, Machismo is an idiot.
Yes.
Way to get him over.
Oh, fucking A.
So yeah, Raw was better than that. It opened with Big Dave coming out. Said last week he became the top contender again, but he should have been the champion again. He went over the rules of the last man standing match, explaining how the idea was you had to beat the guy so badly he could not stand up, not duct tape his feet together. Michael called the duct tape, quote, one of the most ingenious strategies I've ever seen employed. Really. Ingenious.
Hey, you and Craig thought it was ingenious.
I thought it was funny. The duct tape rolled out, and I immediately thought, tie him up with duct tape. Apparently, it didn't occur to Michael Cole at all. So, Dave called it the most embarrassing moment of John Cena's career, no, of his life. Said it was something Hornswoggle would do. Then he started to complain about how he had a beat the clock challenge. Said he and Cena would have matches, and whoever won in the quickest time would get to pick the stips for their match. So he announced his opponent was The Miz. Didn't seem to care about this. Called out The Miz. Got Sheamus instead. Sheamus said Dave was pathetic, whining about his loss, while he, on the other hand, won at the pay-per-view and also took out Triple H, something Dave had never done. He said maybe that's why he didn't have a title match, because he took out the son-in-law, or maybe Cena was afraid. But either way, he deserved the match, not Dave. Then he issued a challenge to Dave, saying if I beat you, I'll get the title shot, which is odd. Is Sheamus turning babyface? Maybe.
No.
All right. So Dave
he just wants a match for the belt.
Dave turned down this challenge. Said Sheamus had lost the week before in the three-way. Sheamus pointed out he wasn't pinned, at which point Dave bellowed, "You lost!" Once a week, Dave just does something small and awesome, and this was it this week. So Sheamus announced this was not over and that he would be a champion again sooner than Dave thought. So he left. We went to commercial. Miz came out for his match with Dave, only he was wearing street clothes.
Now listen, I understand that the whole idea of this was that they wanted to have Miz be a jerk and put Daniel Bryan in the match. Okay? That said, why did they book the Miz versus Batista in the first place if this were real?
I don't know.
Why was Miz chosen, of all people, to face Batista?
I don't have that answer to that question.
All right. Stupid.
So regardless, Miz had a doctor's note, which he clearly had made at home on his own printer. It said doctor's note in giant letters. He announced that he could not wrestle because Big Show punched him. He had a substitute. It was Daniel Bryan, who came out to Wild and Young. Dave was cool with this until Bryan announced that he was going to make Batista tap out, and then Dave was pissed.
Yeah.
So the match began. Dave immediately went for the powerbomb. I was certain he was going to hit it. Thankfully, he did not. Bryan escaped, and they had a very fun little 5-minute match here on Raw, where Dave would destroy Bryan repeatedly, and then Bryan would hook a submission out of nowhere, and the crowd would go crazy. Repeat. The highlight of this was Daniel Bryan applied an Uma Plata clutch.
Yes.
Which is a cool fucking move. And people went crazy thinking he was going to tap Dave out with this move they had never seen before.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't.
No.
Dave fought free. Dave hit the powerbomb and won. 5:06 was the time. This was the old school Daniel Bryan loss where he looks good and gets over in the process. And then Dave killed him repeatedly with powerbombs for good measure to, I guess, wipe that out.
I like this.
No, this is all good. Up to this point, this was a absolute thumbs up win of a show. So we had Wayne Brady backstage, said hi to Eve. Jillian said hi. She sang. Wayne showed her the door. And then Maurice laid out Eve and stole the belt.
Mm-hmm.
Wacky. Edge was talking to some production geek about clips he wanted in a video or something.
No one seems to know.
It was never explained.
I have no idea what he was trying to get these clips for.
It may have been for his own personal collection. I can't tell you.
Well, no, it had to be for something. Because they couldn't use them because these were R-rated clips on the PG show.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was the point of this, is that whatever Edge wanted to do with him, he couldn't.
Maybe it was for the cutting edge and everything he wanted was R, and so there were no clips on the show.
That could be.
Could be.
So he announced this show was live. He would do whatever he wanted. Promised to start an era of controversy. And there was actually a very light PG sucks chant. Which is not quite as funny as Double Vision on Impact, but it was pretty funny. We had a Ted DiBiase promo. Said he was going to make Truth financially healthy for life by making him his Virgil. Said Truth wouldn't be able to wrestle forever. And then what was he going to do? Sing? He's only got one song, and it's terrible.
Yes.
Great line.
Ted DiBiase was much improved on this show. I thought he did a fairly good promo. I thought his match was more exciting than a lot of the heel Randy Orton matches we'd seen in the last 6 months. And I thought this match with Morrison was actually pretty damn good. I enjoyed the match. And Morrison beat him. They have yet to explain what in the hell is the $1 million title all about. Can you win it? Is it ever on the line?
I guess not.
Does he just carry it around everywhere and he just loses indiscriminately? What is this all about?
I haven't thought about it, but you have a point. He was pinned clean here to not give up the belt. He first tried to walk away, and then Morrison issued a challenge, said, if you can beat me tonight, I will be your Virgil. So he came back, and they had their match, and the finish was DiBiase hooked the $1 million dream, but Morrison ran up the ropes and fell back into a cradle like Bret Hart and Steve Austin and won. And so DiBiase lead him afterwards, and then Truth made the save.
With his one shitty song. We had John Cena versus Wade Barrett. You know, Truth can actually rap. You would think with
I don't know that, actually.
You would think with them putting out CDs all the time, they'd have him do like a new song every year. Why does he still have the same song? I don't know.
Maybe he thinks it's his masterpiece and he can't top it.
I doubt that.
Okay.
In fact, I'll bet you $1 billion.
Just throwing ideas out there. So we had John Cena versus Wade Barrett, who was subbing for Chris Jericho, who was also punched by Big Show and was not going to wrestle. Wade on NXT is a giant. And he's in there now with John Cena, and he was slightly larger.
Yeah.
That's what happens. They had a match. It was not as good as Daniel Bryan and Dave Batista. I do not recommend Wade Barrett win NXT and then challenge for a title on pay-per-view.
Well, if he does, it'll be the tag titles.
I see. So it was okay, but the That's not as good. And Wade was in control until Cena hooked an STF and won with 30 seconds to go. People got into the finish. And Cena was about to announce what his stipulation would be when Sheamus attacked him and laid him out.
And to make this clear, by the way, John Cena, the babyface, and the champion, gets to choose the stipulations for the match of the pay-per-view.
Not only that, they mentioned this earlier, had Daniel Bryan beat Batista in that match, then John Cena would have gotten the steps to choose the steps automatically. He would not even have had to qualify here against Wade Barrett.
Yes.
So, yes.
And if Daniel Bryan had beaten Batista, Batista was still getting a title shot against the guy who got to choose his tips.
Yes.
This is stupid.
It's all dumb. So we had Maurice versus Abella. It went like a minute.
Can't you just choose, like, the belt's going to be in a box and we're going to have a Trivial Pursuit contest?
I don't see why not.
Something stupid like that. What did Velvet Sky do that was so goddamn stupid that one time?
She challenged the champion, but didn't make it a title match.
That's right. That was
like a month ago.
Yeah.
So anyway, Maurice beat Abella in a minute. And she immediately then presented her new photo shoot, the sexiest of the sexy. It was photos of herself posing with the Divas title over the prone and unconscious body of Eve Torres.
Mm-hmm. This was actually great.
My favorite part about this is that, let's review. Earlier in the show, Maurice had laid out Eve and stolen the belt. Apparently, she then returned with her own personal photographer.
No, Eve was there taking photos with the belt. Right. That was the whole key.
Okay, fine.
So Maurice put her through the thing and then said, hey, take some pictures of this.
And the photographer guy said, all right.
Would you say no to Maurice?
Yeah, excellent point. I personally could not, no.
You would have said, let me take 100 of these, I'll make a portfolio, I'll hand deliver it to your house, and I'll pay you. That's what you would have said.
Actually, probably would have come out more like just, duh. So, anyway, it doesn't matter, Eve was fine. She ran down, chased Maurice away. Mm-hmm. That was that. The woo-woo guy appeared on Raw.
By the way, your Maurice joke failed.
It did.
Monumentally.
I was moving on.
Which actually made it work even better. Because that is probably exactly what would have happened. There would have been an awkward pause. And you'd have said, so anyway, let's get these taken.
Yeah. So the woo-woo guy was on Raw. Well, Alicia and Gail were at the announce
Thousands
table.
of people tuned out, coincidentally.
Yes, Zach said the girls were there to watch him. He was bragging about getting wins over Primo, Cologne, and then said they were going to wrestle again. I guess it's better that it was Mark Henry instead of Primo.
Cologne sounds like a product you'd get at Macy's.
It does.
Yeah. Never thought about that till just now.
Mark Henry pinned Zack Ryder.
No one cared.
I don't care.
No.
We had Jericho and Miz had a meeting. They talked about being punched, how much it sucked. Talked about how much it sucked teaming with Big Show, about his country music and his snoring and his boring stories. Said they had no sympathy for Edge or Swagger because they deserve to get punched, but they deserve better. And then they left together. So they are now going to be a tag team of the Big Show's Damaged Goods.
It's a good name.
The Big Show's Sloppy Seconds.
Yeah.
Kozlov met with Wayne Brady.
Jizz.
Thank you, Brian.
Jericho and Miz.
That's lovely.
Big Show Sloppy Seconds. That didn't even take me 2 seconds to think of.
That's ingenious.
I can't top that one. Go on.
Kozlov met with Wayne. Told him, and I quote, I am glad you're not foolish like MacGruber. So Regal and Kozlov are friends again. Santino was there. He said he was one of the 7 viewers of ECW, knew they had broken up. Regal said, now we're back together, and that was it.
Yes.
Goldust was there. This was their stupid, they do a weekly stupid segment, and this was it.
Yeah.
So we had the Hart Dynasty versus Regal and Kozlov with Jericho and Miz on commentary. They were fucking fantastic. Particularly when Jericho dubbed Big Show an ungrateful heathen.
He is a heathen.
An ungrateful heathen. So they had a short match. Fine while it lasted. The Harts won. Harry submitted Regal with a sharpshooter. And then Miz and Jericho attacked them and laid them out.
Can you have a grateful heathen?
I don't know.
I guess you could be grateful about other things aside from God.
So we had the Cutting Edge Edge came out, said he speared Randy to make a big impact on his new show. Called out Randy, got Wayne Brady instead. Wayne proceeded to cut a promo on the other guest hosts.
Mm-hmm.
Called himself Bob Darker.
Yeah.
Sort of other wackiness. Orton finally came out. Immediately RKO'd Wayne Brady. Went after Edge. Edge hid behind a stool. Don't ask me how that works. He said Randy would have done the same thing if he had the chance. Said Randy had been a guest on his show years ago, and the result was that they became a tag team, rated RKO, and they dominated the entire show. And then he started talking about trying to be a hero, but the people didn't like him like they liked Randy. This was a lie. A bold-faced lie. People have been way more on edge than Randy. So then he said if Randy would not join him as a team, then he threatened to spear Randy every single week. They had a brawl. And it ended with Edge going for a spear and eating an RKO instead. And that was the end of Monday Night Raw.
I thought that was so stupid. It was like a perfect finish to a pay-per-view match. Now what are they going to do? Go for the spear, get kicked, do some stuff.
I don't know.
RKO. That's like a perfect finish to a pay-per-view. They gave it away for free. And his show was fine. It was fine. Raw is just like, it's fine lately. The stuff, Dave and Sheamus is great.
Yes.
Sad Dave's going to be leaving. Glad Sheamus is around. They can do something with this young man. I don't know what, but there's hope for him. Listen, we're going to wrap this up today with a song here by Browser Brody.
Great man.
Who's Browser Brody, some of you might ask? Well, every song that you hear on this program, it all stems from the very first song ever played on this program, which was, in fact, by Browser Brody. He was the first. Every single person that has written a song for this program, we owe it all to Browser Brody. And I actually don't know where the original song is here, but it was MC Chico. It's about 10 seconds long. I'm sure you can figure out what MC Chico was all about. But anyway, let's play this one. I've not heard a song by Browser Brody for a long time now. He said that I haven't done one of these in a while. I just heard you and Granny on the weekend show, and this idea popped into my head. I put you and Granny on different stereo sides. I wasn't sure if it would cause a problem with your equipment. Well, we'll find out. And if it does, he's going to rearrange the vocals. So let's give this a shot. Browser Brody, Granny can do it.
I can do that, but I don't know how to do it.
You can do it, but you don't know how to do it.
I can do that, but I don't know how to do it.
You can do it, but you don't know how to do it.
I don't know how to do it.
But you don't know how to do it.
I don't know how to do it.
Well, then you can't do it. You've got to be kidding me.
Oh.
That's a great ending.
A fine ending right there.